Hey guys, what's happening? It is early and I'm in Seattle and I'm gonna hit the streets and take some photos. Okay, so I thought while I'm out shooting some travel photographs, I thought I'd talk about some tips for getting better travel photographs. Okay, so tip number one is really just to do your research. There's so much information online, whether you're doing searching through photography websites or some blogs. Like I've got a bunch of lists on my blogs of different places to take photos in different cities around the world. You can get on Flickr and you can search by interestingness and location. Sorry, there's a truck making a lot of noise over there. The point is, you get online, you can find so much. And the reason why I say that research is important, I think it's sad if you show up and you don't have a plan, and that's because tip number two is to bring the right gear. So I think you want to make sure you bring the right gear based on the type of photos you want to take in the location that you're going to be at. So that could be, hey, I'm happy bringing a prime lens to the city because I just want to do street shots. Gosh, more noise. Or it could be, gosh, I really need a zoom lens. A 24-70 should be fine because I'm just going to shoot semi-wide with a little bit of zoom. Or, hey, maybe I really need a super zoom because I need to go to 300 millimeters in order to get a distant view of whatever it is. So if you plan ahead and do your research, that allows you to figure out what gear it is you want to bring to take the photos you want to take in whichever location you're visiting. So the next tip is to get up early and get out and shoot sunrise if at all possible. And the reason why is I'm assuming you're going to want to shoot some iconic locations. Like I'm at Pike Place Market in Seattle. I love it. It's a touristy destination, but I love to shoot it. But at sunset, it's just crowded. People are swarming around here. And at sunrise, I'm basically the only one here, other than these cars that are going by, and a few delivery trucks. But I was able, before filming this, to get a few shots that were completely devoid, essentially, of people. So that's a lovely thing, I think. Now, of course, that depends on what kind of photos you want to get of a place. I personally prefer to have locations like this empty, basically. So, if I'm shooting street photography and that sort of thing, I'm less concerned about the light, and I'm also less concerned about people being in my photos. And in fact, people may play a prominent role in my street photographs. But if I'm doing cityscapes, especially of kind of iconic locations, I prefer to do those at sunrise, which means you're generally going to be able to get it devoid of people, and not to mention like blue hour, which is now, you can get some gorgeous light. The other thing I recommend doing is just walking everywhere if at all possible. Now, this video may not be a great example of that simply because I'm not covering a lot of ground, but I'll use London as an example. It's a city I've visited many times, and I love wandering in a city simply because if I'm going from location to location, walking between them gives me the opportunity to find photo opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise get. And so I love that about walking around. if you have a list of the iconic locations you're trying to get to and you're hopping on the tube in London or grabbing a taxi and zipping from spot to spot, I feel like you miss some things. Now, there are times when you're time constrained or, limited by the available light that you need to go do something like that. But generally speaking, I try to walk everywhere simply because you're going to find stuff that you wouldn't otherwise find, and you may end up getting some great shots that you didn't even know existed. The other great thing about walking from place to place is these other sort of, I'll call them undiscovered or unknown locations, are generally not going to be crowded because the tourist hordes are also going to the big, popular, iconic spots. And so if you're popping from one to the next, you're just kind of, again, depending on the time of day, like if you're up at sunrise, you're probably not going to have the crowds. But if you're there at sunset, for example, you're very often going to be surrounded by hordes of people. And so walking between sites, I think, gives you a great opportunity to find some undiscovered gems on your travels. And the last tip for this little vlog here from Seattle is really just to get the small shots too. I'm talking about making a list of all the big important stuff you want to go see and visiting the iconic spots and trying to get out at sunrise to shoot them without the crowds. But the small stuff's important too. I think many times the more memorable photos that I take of a location are the smaller, more intimate scenes of a city that may not be an iconic location, for example, and they help me sort of cement my memories of the trip oftentimes better than the iconic ones do. So I think that's important, and that ties back to the last tip, which is you come across these small intimate scenes by walking everywhere. The other thing that does for you is it gives you the ability to get an original shot, because we all shoot the iconic stuff and shoot the same things, but trying to differentiate your photographs can be hard. And so many times doing the walking and shooting the small stuff is going to give you the opportunity to get something that's a little bit more original, even if you're at a sort of well-trafficked location. Okay guys, I think that's it for this video. I am approaching the original Starbucks, and I think I need some caffeine because it is early. I've been up for a while now. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you enjoyed the photos and the tips. Hope they help you on your next trip. And I'll catch you later, friends. Take care. Adios.